we're seeing very ultra-high tech for hive mining, the process to bring most into a central psychotronic hive mind. Could you explain to the listeners what a psychotronic hive mining is?
Right. Of course, the dream of the secret shadow government, which was set up after World War II, really was a gathering of the top intel people that wanted to get complete control over the population. And, of course, they were very well versed in Edward Bernays' methods, Wall Street advertising, and types of mind control that were acceptable then considered to be okay. So they knew if you spent money on advertising, you would get a return in terms of increased sales. But what they wanted to do was to come up with the best science possible and create a scientific fascist regime where people could be completely controlled. So what they did is they had various policy study groups that were associated with the CFR, and what they did is they hired scientists to look at various kinds of hiving behavior, such as in honeybees and birds, how birds could migrate 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 miles, end up within 10 square feet of where they left. They were very curious as to how this was done, and what they discovered was that there are magnetic molecules inside the brains of bees and birds that really serve as a little miniature GPS system. But it does more than that, because there's a type of communication between the bees and the hive and the queen bee, which goes through a different dimension. It's a quantum type of communication. And so what they wanted to do was to mimic this in people, isolate these chemicals, and then create the same kind of relationship with people to a central hive. And what they did was they found out that it was basically a quantum physics phenomena, where if you have two neutrons and one electron that's entangled, spinning around each one, each neutron, so it's spinning in a figure 8 around both of them, and then they have new quantum computers where they can connect two computers maybe by 100 miles with a fiber optic, and they can take and separate the neutrons, move one neutron away from the other, and what they found was the same electron kept circling both. So they thought, well, this has to be exceeding the speed of light to do this, because it didn't slow down. So when they cut the fiber optic, they found out that the electron still circled both neutrons. And this was a shocking discovery, because what it meant was that the electron was going through some other dimension where there is no time and space as we normally think of it. And this is the whole quantum area. And this is what they've been spending literally billions of dollars on, is to try to tap into this dimension. And some of the new communication systems that the military has that are very beyond black, top secret, use this method to communicate. And,
so we literally are being taken over by technologies that most people are even unaware exist. And what we're seeing, of course, is the proliferation of cell towers, antennas, smart meters. We're being told that the telecom industry needs either a cell tower or an antenna for every 75 homes in a urban area. So what we're saying here, Preston, is this correct, that
yes,
this is all
exactly.
setting
You've
us
got
up?
It right. You've got it right.
Yeah.
If somebody took a week and spent your website and read every single thing on your website, I read most of it, people would be up to speed on this. It's an overwhelming amount of accurate information that you have. You've got by far the best website on this. But it's very, very well documented. And the thing about it is, if people become informed of this, it actually creates motivation on their part to get involved at a local level to try to slow this down and stop it, because the smart meter situation is becoming a threat. It's not a lethal threat for everybody right now, but in the future it could be. And of course, as we know, there's companies that have been raised up with billions of dollars behind them to manage the smart meters. OATI is one.
Yeah, that's ODI, and actually we have that posted on our site right now. So